Was more nightmares than a deep pan pizza. Stephen King said of his writing, you read him with a book in one hand and an airsick bag in the other. He just got a terrifying hit with his first movie, Hellraiser, and here to talk to us tonight in the creeping flesh, please welcome Mr. Clive Barker. Hello. Eating on the job again. Well, Clive, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure.
You know, I just mentioned the Stephen King quote at the beginning.
Queen, you said.
The Stephen Queen quote. Not many people know that about him, do they? You know, I shouldn't have said that, should I? Have you ever met Stephen King?
Yeah, I met him on Good Morning America about six months ago.
It must be quite nice to have someone as kind of well-respected as him to write nice things about your work.
Yeah, his checks in the post.
Now, your first books that came out, you did a series of short stories known as the Books of Blood.
Right, there were 6 volumes of those.
How long did that take you to write?
The first 3 took about 18 months of... there was a line Woody Allen came up with when he made a movie called Everything You Ever Want to Know About Sex, but Were Afraid to Ask. That the movie contained all the funniest ideas that he knew about sex, including several that led to his divorce. And I want to do the same thing with horror. I wanted to put all the nastiest, weirdest, most erotic, perverse ideas I could into a collection of short stories.
Well, there's a crazy set of books.
Crazy, wacky, and zany.
I think you achieved it. Do you get nightmares while you're writing that kind of stuff?
No, it's all on the page.
It's all laid out there.
Yeah.
Now, Hellraiser, the movie we mentioned, which is I saw and I liked a lot, it's out in the States at the moment, I believe.
That's right. It's been out about 5 weeks.
Is it doing well over there?
Yeah, we're up to about $14–15 million.
Oh, well, that's pretty good, isn't it? That's one cinema, I believe, is that?
That's one cinema. My mother keeps going back.
Well, that's like my mum with the show here. Now, if you haven't seen it, we've got a clip to show you now from Hellraiser to give you an idea what we're talking about. A very good film it is, too.
It opens doors.
What kind of doors?
Doors to the pleasures of heaven or hell. I didn't care which. I thought I'd gone to the limits. I hadn't. The Cenobites gave me an experience beyond the limits. Pain and pleasure, indivisible.
There's a real ugly bunch in that movie.
Ugly bunch, ugly bunch.
Called the Cenobites. Now, is there going to be a second Hellraiser movie?
Yeah, we should be shooting Hellraiser 2 pretty soon.
Because, of course, you directed it as well. You're not just a writer.
That's right, but the second one, I'm moving on to fantasy stuff like Weave World. I'm moving away from the horror stuff now.
So I read you were offered lots of other films as well. You offered, was it Aliens 3?
Aliens 3 was, well, it's certainly a possibility, yeah.
But in the film, there's quite a lot, I mean, it's quite gory.
Yeah.
It's quite explicit. Do you think it might be sometimes better to leave it to the imagination? That might be scarier?
No, I like to show everything. I mean, in the books, in the film, I want to be able to detail everything. If there's a monster comes on, I want to know how many heads it's got.
Yeah,
the audience needs to know too.
They certainly do in that movie. No,
yeah.
What scares you? Anything scare you?
This program? I don't know. No, not that much. Elevators.
Why do elevators scare you?
Well, you get trapped in them, and terrible things happen to you.
Well, that's never happened to me.
Really? Well, you've been in the wrong elevator.
I obviously have. When do you think up your ideas? I mean, do ideas come to you when you're doing everyday things like the laundrette and shopping and so on?
Well, yeah. No, the horror stuff is around all the time. For the new book, for Weave World, I've kind of gone back to my childhood, and so it's childhood stuff. I don't know. I think that the kind of imaginative things that come up in the books are things which have been in my head since I was born, probably. Good and bad.
An awful lot of bad,
An awful lot of bad.
There's a lot of dead bodies and a lot of bodies being kind of punctured and ripped apart and things like that. And there's no one eating at home at the moment. Do you, I mean, have you ever seen a dead body yourself?
Oh, sure, yeah. I went to an autopsy for researching for the last book.
Was that fun?
Yeah, we all get to go to one, right? You know.
Well, I haven't been to mine yet.
No, well, at the very end you'll get to go to.
Go to your own, I see what you mean.
Right.
So how do you unwind, apart from going to autopsies? What do you do to kind of take your mind off work?
Well, we sit around and chat. I don't know. I don't ever stop working. I'm painting and writing and planning stuff. I mean, I'm sort of obsessed with storytelling, I suppose.
Because you design the covers of your books as well, don't you? We have the new one here.
Yeah,
it's
this one
beautiful
is.
cover.
This isn't mine. This is a guy called Tim White, who I think is a genius. This is just out. Plug. All this stuff. It's about a world in a carpet. All this stuff around the edge are elements from the story.
It's about a carpet that gets...
It's about a world. It's about a secret world in a carpet. It's not a horror book. It's a fantasy book.
So you won't be doing any more horror books?
I think I've shed enough literary blood for a little while. I think it's time to get to more benign and more optimistic stuff.
Now that you are, the success you are, the books are doing incredibly well, and the film, how much has your life changed?
Well, I guess quite a lot. I mean, I buy more champagne than I used to buy. I smoke slightly larger cigars. But I mean, finally, the whole point is this. I was doing this long before I was paid anything for it, and if they stop tomorrow, I'll still be doing it. I shouldn't say that. My publisher will.
They probably will. What are your favourite horror books or horror writers?
I love Ramsey Campbell.
He's an English guy, isn't he?
An English guy, a fellow Liverpudlian, and I think he's wonderful. Steve King, of course, Straub. And I go to movies a lot for leisure and inspiration. I see a lot of movies, a lot of horror movies.
Do you have a girlfriend or one who you can take to autopsies and movies with?
Only to autopsies. Only to autopsies. I think horror movies and fantasy movies should be seen with the largest number of people possible, and preferably slightly drunk.
Sure. Well, I really enjoyed Hellraiser. I haven't read this yet, but it certainly looks thick.
It's thick, and it's cheap.
Else.
$10.95 at your local shop.
Okay, well, that's a big one. Okay, thank you very much, Clive Barker.
Thank you very much indeed.